Hello, welcome back, and part 25. Here we are. Yeah, so let's carry on with just again just a little bit more reiteration before I move on to something else. Because I do want to really always make it as clear as possible that I'm not totally against the idea of the Lutz story being something that was imagined. I'm not entirely against that notion that it was an old house that made a lot of noises and kind of freak them out with the thoughts of what happened there before. I'm not entirely against that completely. It's not really my thoughts, but I'm not entirely against it. I'm not entirely against the idea of them, kind of out to make money at a later stage when things were, kind of, just getting rife everywhere. They were being, asked for more information, to the point where they thought, yeah, we may as well, make some money out of this. People want our story, we may as well sell it. We may as well get what we can out of it. I'm really not against that idea. I'm just against the idea of it being a premeditated, ridiculous scam. That's where I really am always against. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to move on to this time is something that is quite well known to some, not so well known to others, is the family who moved into the house after the Lutz family, the Cromarty family. And these were a family who seemed to, attract a lot of attention as well, but more in the way of they were disturbed by the curious public. And this is what I have covered before, that they were said to have been plagued by people, performing very sick acts on their property, really going way too far. Some really, really horrible things, like we mentioned before, the sacrificing of domestic animals, and lots of other horrible things, that no one should be having to put up with. And it was said that that's kind of the extent of the terror that they experienced, that they didn't experience anything of a paranormal nature. So it is bad. Yeah, there's no other way around it. That was bad. However, there's other ways I like to look at this, and these are only theories that I'm saying. I'm not delivering facts here. I'm not trying to incriminate anyone. I'm simply delivering theories that have resonated with me over time, which would be along the lines of this family were said to have been in the entertainment and hospitality business, owning a racetrack and something else that I can't remember quite what it was, but they were in the hospitality business. And certain ideas have floated around that they could have bought that house with an intention of turning it into some kind of tourist attraction, and that upon being opposed by the local authorities and of course the residents, they would have gone another way to cash in on it, to say that we've bought this house and we're terrorized by it because of a load of lies that the previous occupants have told, and now we can't settle in this house. Now, the thing is, it's pretty well known that they bought that house for $50,000, which was $30,000 less than the Lutz family had, paid. Well, got the mortgage for, yeah. And so they got it at even more of a bargain. So we're talking a house that was perhaps not that desirable, that people didn't really want, for it to have come down in price so much. And I do feel that they can't be too sympathised with in the way of the attention that was already there. I mean, people will argue, yeah, but at this point the book hadn't been published, and maybe that it was a case of hoping that all the attention would go away. Yeah, I mean, okay, these are all fair points, but we're still talking someone who took on a very notable, very kind of publicised property, and kind of wondered why they couldn't just be living there in peace. So I do have a lot of question marks around that. I really do. Now, there is a video where we can see Mrs. Cromarty showing us that the front door was never blown off its hinges, that that there's nothing there to suggest this door was ever fixed or replaced. Yeah, so that's fair enough. But again, that is only really debunking and highlighting an embellishment in the book, not an actual claim from the Lutz family. The stair rail that was said to be damaged, and she showed us no, this was never damaged. Again, an embellishment in the book. As I briefly touched on before, the window upstairs, she was shown us one of those iconic sort of quarter moon windows, saying, "Look, this is the original window. It's not been damaged." But again, the window that the Lutz family said was damaged was not one of those. It was another upstairs window. So there we've got an example of trying to debunk something that was never actually claimed. Yeah. So, but Mrs. Cromartie also said this house is not haunted. It was never haunted. Now, that is something that she had no right to say. And that is my strong belief, that she had no right to say that. It's perfectly fine to say, we live here and we don't see any supernatural goings on. We don't feel threatened by paranormal forces or, demonic entities. We don't feel any threat like that. But to say that no one else did before, I mean, that is, not her place to say. And I do strongly, stand by that. It just wasn't a good thing to say. And the thing is, as well, it's quite well known that they later kind of joined forces with the Kaplans, who, were very much, the instigators, the leaders, if you like, of what I call the anti-Lutz Brigade or the pro-hoax patrol. And we're talking people, who were very, very against this story, that seems to be, through personal vendetta and bitterness. It really does. And so, we're looking at them all kind of teaming up together, ganging up on the Lutz family and using this in another way, So we're looking at something that does beg a lot of questions. We're looking at something that does, not entirely add up, and, it does create some head scratches. Like I say, I'm not saying these things as a fact, so no one can come to me and say, "Oh, you're making big accusations here. You're trying to incriminate someone," because I'm not. I'm simply saying that these are theories that, do get us thinking. I mean, there was said to have been a time that, something was amiss, and Mrs. Cromartie was saying, "Well, yeah, it does smell strange in here. It's because I spilled some coffee on the floor and it's made the carpet smell bad." But I mean, people tend to know what coffee on a carpet smells like, and did she not clean it up when it was spilt? I mean, we're looking at something that didn't quite fit there. And it was also said that they did bring in a parapsychologist into the house. So I mean, if there's so staunchly believing that there's nothing going on there, many would ask, why bring in a parapsychologist then? Yeah, so it does seem as though we were getting some people all kind of collectively sort of trying to create this damnation of the Lutz family and their story. It's said that they were sued for creating this attention to the house. But I often ask this question: why not sue Butch DeFeo for bringing attention to the house? Because he did that too. Yeah, but I don't see how anyone could legitimately sue someone for talking about a property that belonged to them at the time. You live there afterwards. I mean, it's technically none of your business what was happening there before, but they took it on as they knew. They got a bargain, and next thing that they're creating this big drama about what a nightmare it is for them living there. They didn't move for quite some years. They carried on living there and seemingly tolerating it. So we can ask the question, were they embracing the drama? Were they actually using this as a way to gain sympathy and attention? I mean, it just all begs a lot of questions. So like I say, I'm not really saying that to you. I'm not saying it's a fact in any way, shape, or form. I'm saying that it's another way to look at things. which is what I try to do with everything. Yeah. So little food for thought there. Be back soon. Thank you. Many blessings.